Well, hello, it's your old mate Dave Spencer back with you once again, and we're off on another one of our transport adventures, and this time we're at Burton on Trent in Staffordshire. You'll probably recall that Midland Classic passed their services over to Diamond. There's still quite a lot in the Midland Classic livery. There's a bit of a mix. What makes it a little bit interesting is surprising how long everything's stayed in a flux, but not when you think of Diamond. So it's a pleasure having you along with us today. I wonder what we're going to see. Well, of course, we shall see what we shall see. Lots of buses, we hope. And I picked a slightly cloudy day, so it doesn't matter which way I'm sort of standing with the camera. And see how I get on anyway. And I'll catch up with you in a bit. Well, I've parked my car in the car park down the road. It's a little bit further away than I normally do. Threw me a bit. Had to declare myself totally lost, throw myself in the mercy of two of the very kind locals who said, don't worry about it, we're always doing that. So they were just making me feel not so bad, but all very kind of them. That followed on from a rather super visit to Mansfield bus station. Amazing people, they're always so very friendly. And of course it sort of helps us get along, doesn't it, in these troubled times, and everybody is friendly. Sort of roadworks down at the next junction down. Oh, I forget there's stuff up there now. The space up there was long time just a sort of layover. I was wondering about that. It's one of the things that threw me, that it suddenly developed into a proper bus stop. Trent, Burton, the sort of out of town bus provider. Nice when we get something that sort of makes a bit of difference. The other week I went to Boston and have a look at Bry Lane's operation. So I've been there before. It was really such a delight to have something where independent sort of running everything. It just sort of you know, perks you up a bit sometimes, and one gets a bit jaded with the old bus scene. Have you ever been a bit jaded with the bus scene? I might be getting the old brolly out. It's starting to rain. The trouble is you're not as sort of nimble as you are without an umbrella. Some of my coats over the years have had a sort of handy pocket that you could tuck the brolly into. It's not so with the one I've got on today. I really kitted out for warmer weather. We've had something of a series of heat waves. We probably haven't hit Burton and Trent yet. I rather fancy it's sort of lunchtime now. I don't know if the little kiddies are off college. They're a pain in the neck when they're here. Probably hope that they're not at school. The driver changeover at that point there, and a sort of corner that I've stood on many times before. As they then sort of hazard here is that it backs up towards the college. There was a parking spot in there somewhere. I used to park, but I don't tend to use that these days. Why is that? I don't know. It's something to do with COVID, I think. No wait for the driver. Now we've got a nice little mix of vehicles and a mix of liveries. And I really do not know what to expect. I don't think that the old route master that they had was probably included in the sale. I rather doubt it. It'd be nice to have that turned up, wouldn't it? Yes, of course. He certainly had an eye for the unusual vehicles. Perhaps they picked them up cheap. But by God, they had all sorts of stuff over the years. I think we've got one just about making his way out. Just trying to avoid getting all the handles and tassels on the umbrella mixed up with another one. Say of course. I don't mind if the rain well, but there you go. It keeps people from dawdling around on the streets, getting in our way, doesn't it? Yeah, we're off again. And the rain's still coming down. It's getting a bit heavier now. Gosh, I'll have to sort of stand somewhere where I can sort of get stills and video without having to sort of twiddle everything around too much, because I'm running out of hands to do everything at the moment. Yes, and that's the trouble of the stops here in the middle. You get the beat there, but drives you crazy after a while, isn't it? I might just go down there towards the old car sales rooms. That's been a pretty nifty spot over the years. Get them coming from down the road there. The road works back towards us. Some nice lengthy shots to be had by the roadworks. And then the trouble there is you've got the noise of the things that do the breaking up and relaying, etc., and flattening. Yes, they are pothole filling. Well, they didn't really more than potholes, and if they do, of course they'll shut the whole road, and it's chaos. Chaos on the A50 at the moment around Uttoxeter to roundabout and the other roundabout. Huge for miles. Still raining. I'll be going around. Watch it.
You're going to give it a thumbs up. I can remember 1977. I would have been, how old would I have been then?
Well, just chatting to somebody who's asking about, you know, what I was doing and about buses, but it wasn't really much about the buses in Staffordshire because he lives in, or came from South Shields. So I was saying about the bus station there, a bit awkward, and put a great big wall round it. Sort of latter day Adrian's wall. Used to be this is a bus station. Oh, it's all getting going again now. It's all ramping up. It's all been ramped up. It's all right as long as you don't laugh. It'll be a bit uncomfortable. They put Mandy's car up there. Ramp. Actually, I think it was an old Renault or something like that. Well, it's new, and it wasn't much better when they returned it from service, because one of the apprentices had to go with Mandy's hand controls. This is the start of the afternoon services. Very awful looking selection at the moment, isn't it? Right. met one of our viewers. But there are some pongs though around the streets here. They all smoke those electronic cigarette things. You know, they smell of everything under the sun and all things that you wish you'd never been heard of. Things that shouldn't be smelling on the street. I much preferred the old cigarettes they used to smoke. Didn't really notice the smell quite so much on those. Obviously prefer not to have any, but gosh, these things now are still awful, aren't they? I think the favourite flavour must be something like cow manure. Actually, talking about that, have you noticed some of the young people, some of the blokes, that they put something on? I think it's like aftershave or spray or something. And it's not like Brute or whatever, you know. It smells like beer, you know. Oh, it's all very bizarre. I can't keep up with things today. Who wants to sort of whiff cow manure everybody and smell of it as well? I don't know. Of course, the other thing is they drive around with this horrible boom boom thing going on. It's designed to annoy old people, but I've got in preparation in my workshop an antidote. Yes, we've got a reprisal weapon being developed that older people can't hear, but sends the younger people absolutely demented. Oh, you wait and see. I don't think I've ever seen that manoeuvre done before. Just helped him complete that manoeuvre. I don't think you can do it without going out on the pavement, so it's a bit dirty really. Never mind, they're very friendly. I think all the drivers have travelled a long way to come, the drivers here, so we have to make them welcome, don't we? And whilst they're friendly and smile, who cares? this one's going all the way to Uttoxeter via Tutbury. It's a pretty place, isn't it? Very congested. I don't know why they build these places, these old places where they do, you know. Because they've got so much traffic going through them, you think they'd move them somewhere else. What do you say? It was there before the buses? Oh, yeah. Well, there is that, of course, yes, yes. Some people have to nitpick, don't they, about things? Only joking, of course. This one's going to Derby now. Well, there's a lot of waving there to no avail. Midland classic deckers have been painted into standard diamond livery, just the single deckers. Sort of have a sort of bit of frenetic activity, and it all seems to sort of die away again. I'm not quite sure what the time is. Perhaps it's about 1:30, 2 o'clock even, I don't know. Have a look on the old chronometer. Gosh, I knew one these days. That's a chronometer made by Samsung. I don't know, who was he? Samsung? I suppose so. Who was Sam? My old chronometer, you could set it up, set the sundial up and what have you, wait for the sun to come out, and oh, it's actually only 1 o'clock now. It's got going, so yes, it's just come up to 1 o'clock, almost exactly. It'll take a few seconds. So just explains why it's very quiet. It's lunchtime. trolley back up. Proper rain again. Blew me away in the draft from that one. Well, everybody likes a new bus, don't they? That's about that, then, boys and girls. Didn't hang about for long, did it? Be interesting to see what comes out to play after lunch. We're a good halfway through our film, I think. These days it's increasingly difficult to get an hour of anything. You know, the time it takes has increased by probably 30%, and it's getting sort of 2 films a day, let alone 3, pretty difficult in most places. But there are a few. Do our best.
really. I think it's more interesting when James had got it. All them R3s are so, you know. Them R3s get so short also. 10 years old.
Yeah.
You can't see on the come on the route now.
Oh.
You can't seem to last I've travelled on one a few times back up to the hospital and then up to Sweden, all the way to the airport in Scotland. So you'll see one with no adverts on.
Excitement mounts as we wait for the second electric of the day. I don't know if it's the same one or another one. I think they've only got a couple out on the road. They've got enormous problems getting them juiced up. They're putting on some more points during the school holiday period, I believe. This is all from other enthusiasts. Just on 2 o'clock now. Room for one more. And another one. I saw the other sort of independent early on. I saw it a couple of times, but I wasn't really close enough for getting a shot. But now we've got a chance. There you go. Yeah, I've seen it a couple of times, but that shot I've got, the only shot probably. No, well, nearby, not far away. I live in Cheshire. Oh, it's getting warm now, I used to get my car, isn't it? But it's better to be hot than cold and wet.
Yeah.
No. Well, hello, it's your old mate Dave, back with you again, the end of another one of our films. Well, it was Enthusiast Central at Burton on Trent today. Everybody out there trying to catch shots of the new electrics, of which I think there's 6, but there's only a couple in service because they haven't got enough points to plug them in and charge them up. But they're going to try and get all that sorted out over the school holidays, and I think they break up probably tomorrow actually. So word is they're just sort of sending them out and seeing how far they can get. So I think we've seen the 2. I hope so. I've seen 1 several times. Anyway, remember, yes, it's that time already. I'm so sorry. Yes, be good, stay safe, keep well, and if you can, be kind to others, because we really are living through some strange old days, aren't we? And it's always a pleasure having you with us. Manny's at home waiting for me to get back, and it's pub night tonight, being a Thursday. Yes, it's July 2025. The heat is coming back. Thank goodness for that, but unfortunately bringing rain with it, and we've got autumn rally this weekend, possibly the last time out with our sales stand, other very local appearances of people that we sponsor, like the Northwest VRT. So in the meantime, God bless, see you all again soon. Bye bye everybody, goodbye.